What's up, Super Cool Nerds? Ricardo here on another episode of Super Cool Nerd Nation. I am here with the one and only, the Geeky Seamstress, Mindy.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. I love the
Awesome.
hair color, by the way.
Thank you.
How often do you change your hair?
So this was actually a recent decision. Around my 31st birthday, I was like, oh crap, I see gray hairs. You know what? We're just going to deny aging and I'm just going to go ahead and color it.
I found one the other day at the age of 29, so I feel you right there. So awesome. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Let's go right into it. You're known as the Geeky Seamstress.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been kind of going by that name? And what came about being called the Geeky Seamstress?
So whenever I first got into cosplay around 2012, I really debated what I wanted my cosplay name to be. I just wanted something that, people could reach out and find me on social media or, wherever I posted my stuff. And for a long time, I went under the handle Writer's Block because it was kind of my all-encompassing name for, let me backtrack a little. I wanted to be a writer for a very long time.
Okay.
I was like, I'm going to be the next American novelist, which, every literary major wants to do, and then realizes, I need a day job for this, which is coincidentally how I became a librarian as my full-time job. But yeah, I was, for the first couple of years, I really struggled. I was going, well, what am I going to do? This doesn't really feel like who I am anymore as a cosplayer and as a cosplay blogger, because I do document all of my creations on my blog. And then it just kind of hit me. I was like, oh, I'm a seamstress and I'm geeky. I'm going to go with it. So I think it was around 2013, 2014 that I adopted that handle, and that was that.
So you said you got into cosplay around 2012.
Yep.
What got you into cosplay? What was the one thing that? What was the thing that kind of pushed you to say, "Hey, I want to dress up like these characters and go to the conventions"?
So this also ties into my librarian career. I finished my my Master's of Library Science in 2011, and shortly after that, I was offered a full-time job out in East Texas. As a librarian. So I was like, okay, I guess, I can put some of my more nerdy interests to the side and I'm going to be a grown-up and do grown-up stuff. And then one of my coworkers, after, we'd gotten to know each other after a few months, and she was like, listen, I didn't want to bring it up right away, but I noticed that you studied Japanese when you were in college. Ooh. And I was like, oh no, where's this going? And she was like, are you by chance into anime? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, anime? What is this nerd stuff that you're talking about? But yes, then she was like, here, let me introduce you to something. And turns out she had been a cosplayer all through high school and through college. And she showed me her Sailor Moon cosplay. And I was like, oh no, this is going to be a thing. I feel it. It's going to be a thing.
An expensive thing.
A very expensive thing, yes. So she said, hey, you know what? Come hang out with me and my friends. We go to this convention called A-Kon every year, so we'll help you with, your first couple of cosplays and, show you what we know, and it just kind of took off from there.
Do you remember what your first cosplay was?
Oh my gosh, yes. So my first A-Kon, I wore Korra from the Avatar series.
I just finished that a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So that was my first self-made costume, my first experience with sewing, also my first time finishing a costume in the hotel room at the con.
So even right away you're already doing the con
crunch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And now at this point I had never had any experience with sewing or anything really crafty whatsoever at all. Like no one taught me how to sew. I was just kind of like
self-taught.
This is a thing. Yeah. My friends were just kind of like, here's our sewing machine. This is the pedal that goes. Go for it. Okay, then. That's a thing.
So before that, you heard of cosplay before? Or was it like kind of like something you've kind of seen about?
I kind of heard about cosplay before. I actually had been following Yaya Han at that point, and I was just like, oh, look at all these beautiful costumes that she makes. So yeah, that was kind of how I knew about cosplay. I knew a few of the bigger name cosplayers. Jessica Negri as well, but I wasn't super immersed into it.
Not like you are now.
Not like I am now, no.
What was your first experience like at A-Kon? Like, were you kind of overwhelmed with how big and how just nerdy it was?
Oh, absolutely. It was definitely overwhelming because I was just like, oh my gosh, all of these people are doing this ridiculous dress up thing and it's totally cool. Oh, sweet, I really want to do more of this. So it was definitely falling into the deep end. Yeah, I just dove in head first.
Now, I know you absolutely love Disney.
Oh, yeah.
You've been to Disney World and Disneyland both, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How did that start? When were you introduced to Disney as a child, I guess?
Oh man, early on. My parents actually like to laugh about how I wore out our VHS tape of The Little Mermaid because I was kind of in that market demographic for The Little Mermaid. The movie came out in '89, but yeah, I watched it as a kid, a lot. And then I watched a lot of those 90s Disney films.
Because you grew up during the Disney Renaissance.
Exactly. That whole renaissance of Disney. So I definitely grew up with that whole environment. And it was really, really appealing to me. I went to Disney World once, actually, when I was in high school. I was a dancer. I was on a Texas drill team. So, that's its own... thing.
I remember those.
Yeah. So, they Disneyland and Disney World both had their whole fine arts thing where they'll invite different fine arts students out to do performances and such. And we were competing out in Florida, so we got to go and perform on stage at Disney, which was really cool. Except it started doing, the Florida thing where the entire sky opened up and just torrential rain down. So yeah, we didn't actually get to do our full routine because we got rained off pretty quickly, but it's okay.
But you got to perform though. Okay. You still got to perform at Disney World.
And then I hadn't really thought about going to Disney World or Disneyland as an adult until my husband surprised me for my 30th birthday. He was like, let's go to Disney World. And I was like, oh, you really must love me because this is your version of hell. So yeah, for my birthday / our
anniversary.
No, it wasn't our anniversary. It was our honeymoon.
Oh.
We got married in Florida, and then we spent a week out in Disney World and got to go visit all the parks and everything. So yeah, that was a really cool experience. And then this past summer, I was out at a work training in Berkeley.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay a few extra days, and really the reason I decided to do it was because they had just opened the Captain Marvel stuff out at Disneyland. Exactly. So I was like, you know what? I'm not here all that often, so I'm just going to stay a few extra days and go to Disneyland and visit Captain Marvel. So yeah, that's how that came about.
So we're here in your game room, in y'all's game room, and I see we have a couple games here in the background. Y'all can kind of see them.
Yeah.
Did you meet your husband because of conventions and cosplay, or did you meet him beforehand?
No. Okay. So we met whenever we both lived out in East Texas. He moved out there after he finished his law degree, and I was out there, after I finished my library science degree. And we actually met through OkCupid, so it was kind of hilarious. He talked about Boolean operators on our first date, and I was like, oh no, I know where this is going. But no, we realized that we have a lot of nerdy stuff in common, and that's kind of how we hit it off.
Now, when y'all play games, who's more competitive?
Oh, I am. Way more competitive. I am so competitive. It's not even funny. We, actually, there's a deck building game. I don't know where he put it. It's called Marvel Legendary.
Oh, yes.
Oh, man.
I played the... Oh, there it is.
Okay, there it is, yeah.
I played the DC version of it. But yeah, no, I was playing... the House on the Haunted Hill house with some of the SNES guys, and Chelsea was involved, and she was like, I'm gonna kill all you bitches. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, oh yeah, no, Chelsea gets my wife, she gets real competitive as well. So I was like, how is it for you guys? Who's more competitive? Because that's the thing. So cool. But yeah, no, I love that you guys, got to, had a lot of nerdy things together. You guys saw all the gaming, of course.
We also play a lot of video games as well. Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Oh, I love Stardew Valley so much.
What's that on? I don't.
Oh, it's on a lot of platforms right now.
Okay.
We played on Switch a lot just because they have co-op mode on there. And
So y'all both.
yeah, actually, it's a little ridiculous. He insisted that we get a second TV for our living room so that we could both just be laying on the couch and playing it together at the same time. And I'm like, oh man.
Is that a bad idea?
All right.
Does your husband cosplay as well?
No, he doesn't. Although I am gonna drag him into a few cosplays that are pretty much perfect for him. He's going to be Endgame Thor one of these days. I'm gonna make it for him.
Yes.
I'm gonna do it.
Just Big Lebowski it.
Exactly. Well, he's asked me for years if I'll make him a Big Lebowski costume, and then when we saw the movie, we were like, "This is happening." Yep.
So now, you're also really big into Sailor Moon.
Mm-hmm.
How many of the cosplays of Sailor Moon have you made? Because I remember when you were making my Hamilton suit for my wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I came over, there was a different like Sailor Moon we were working on. I think. So how many of the Sailor Moons have you? How many of the Sailor Scouts? It's what they're called, right? Sailor Scouts?
Yeah, Sailor Scouts, yeah.
How many of the Sailor Scouts have you made?
Oh, man.
And how many are yours?
Oh, man. Okay, actually, I'm glad I ran the numbers on this recently. So I do commission Sailor Moon fukus, and I have to date made at least 40 full fukus.
Wow.
I've assisted in another 12 to 15. I can't quite remember some of them, but they're buried around somewhere. I've also made a couple of variations of costumes. Like my go-to character is Sailor Jupiter, so I've made the princess version of her outfit, and a handful of other costumes of hers. Strictly speaking, in terms of fukus, I've made 10 for myself over the last 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? That's what, 3-4 years? So it's not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad. Sure.
So I know you've cosplayed the Sailor Moons. I've seen your Captain Marvel.
Uh-huh.
What are some of the other ones people have seen you in? What are some of the other cosplays that you've done?
Oh, I've done a whole lot of different stuff. I am really into Captain Marvel. I've also cosplayed Miss Marvel and a few other versions of Carol Danvers. I am getting started on her Marvel Cinematic Universe suit soon.
Nice.
Soonish. Sometime in the fall.
After A-Con?
After San Japan.
Oh, it's San Japan. Okay, that's right. We still got San Japan to go.
Still got San Japan over Labor Day. Yeah. I'm also really big into the X-Men. I have made at least 4 versions of Rogue.
Okay.
I think, yeah. I also really like Wonder Woman, so I've done several of her costumes. There's also a couple of independent comics that I like that I've made costumes from. Like I made Hannah from Rat Queens.
Yeah. There was a whole group of y'all that did those.
Mm-hmm. Yep, a couple of my friends did that. Yeah, so those are the main ones that I've done over the years. And then, like I said, Cora, and a handful of other... Oh, I can't believe I forgot this one. I really love the Persona video game series.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of Persona,
Yeah, Persona 5 is definitely my favorite. I've made a couple of versions of Makoto. She goes by Queen in the game as well, so I've made 3 of her outfits so far, and another one that's just about ready to go, so yeah.
Nice. Mm-hmm. What, besides Captain Marvel, you said we're going to start after San Japan. What's your lineup for A-Con, and what are other cosplays that you want to do down the line?
So for A-Con, me and my friends over at Cosmic Coterie, we are guests at A-Con this year, which is really cool. We've got a couple of panels, and we are also hosting the Sailor Moon meetup.
Nice.
We are debuting 3 new costumes for that. We are debuting the My Hero Academia PE uniforms, which is really awesome. Those are so comfortable. I love them. They're just... anytime you get to wear a cosplay that's just athletic clothes and sneakers, it's the best. It's the best.
Because it's not hot, and it's not a lot of...
Exactly.
It's not a lot. I feel
nice
you
and
on
cozy.
that.
And, like, the sneakers are so comfy. I'm just like, yes. We are also debuting costumes from this ridiculous anime called Zombieland Saga. Have you heard of that one?
I have not.
Oh my god.
My interest is peaked.
It's exactly what it sounds like. It's an idol anime, but all the girls are zombies. They have been raised from the dead to become pop stars. And it's wonderful. It is campy and ridiculous and over the top.
Zombieland Idol?
Zombieland Saga.
Oh, it's Zombieland Saga. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great.
Comic or
It's an anime.
Anime, okay. Or sorry, manga. That's right, it's manga in Japan.
Yeah, I don't know if there is a manga for it. There might be.
I'm gonna have to look through Funimation for that one.
It was really funny. Some of our friends were like, "Listen, I know how ridiculous it sounds, but just watch it. Just watch it." And we did, and it's absurd. In the best way possible. It really is.
So keep an eye out for that around. Yeah. If you're walking around Fair Park for A-Con, keep an eye out for that.
And we are debuting a new Sailor Moon costume, but it's a secret right now.
Secret. Shh. You mentioned Cosmic. What was it? Cosmic
Coterie.
How'd that start about?
So that came about in 2016. My friend Space Cadet Cosplay, she kind of like dragged me into some Sailor Moon cosplay with
Come on,
some
did
friends.
she really drag you in?
No, I jumped head first, and we kind of kicked it off A-Fest 2016, and we all loved Sailor Moon, so we made all the Sailor Scouts, and that was really all there was to it. We also put out a big Sailor Moon Fuku tutorial. That's one of the resources that we're best known for. We just were like, you know what, the cosplay community has given us so much. We want to, share how we do our work so that, other people can work on their own stuff and,
Cool.
Give, especially beginners, a really easy to use resource whenever they're working on their own stuff. So, yeah.
And where can they find these resources?
CosmicCoterie.com. All of our tutorials, patterns, and all that good stuff is over there. So, yeah.
Awesome. So, what's your plans for the future involving cosplay, Geeky Seamstress? What do you want to do?
So short term, I want to work on some really ridiculous competitive stuff again. The last time I competed in a cosplay contest was 2015. I won Best in Show with my Captain Marvel at one of the Dallas Comic-Con events. I don't remember which one it was off the top of my head.
There's so many now.
There's a lot. And there were more at that point in time. There were at least 3 a year at that point. Anyway. Anyway. So I am working on a couple of competitive pieces. My Eternal Sailor Moon, I am working on that as a competition piece for San Japan. I'm really excited for it. I'm going to make some big wings. Yeah. Real big wings.
Are they going to fit in the car?
We'll have to make them fit in the car somehow. So working on that for San Japan. Also going to get started on Captain Marvel here pretty soon. I'm also working on Kylo Ren. I want to make that for the new Star Wars. I'm basically getting a big jump start on my KatsuCon 2020 plans.
There you go. You got 6 months for Kylo Ren.
Yeah. I'm starting to shop for the pieces. I was like, I got to start buying those boots and stuff. So short term, I've got some big detailed pieces that I want to work on. Eventually, I'd really love to go back to school, get an MFA in theater with an emphasis on costume design. I really love education and sharing knowledge with people, so I'd like to go back to school and, I don't know, maybe teach. I've worked in higher education for the last 10 years, and I think I'd really enjoy sharing costuming knowledge with people. So yeah. Cool. Yeah.
You mentioned theater. Did you do theater when you were in high school?
No, I didn't. I was a dancer.
Oh, that's right. Drill team. That's right.
Yep, drill team.
Believe it or not, I had the choice of either being a photographer for the high school newspaper / yearbook, or being theater, and I went with photography at the time.
Interesting.
Kind of wish I hadn't, but at the same time, I'm glad I did. It's a whole thing. But so from all the cosplays you've done, I know you did My Hamilton.
Yep.
Have you done any other Broadway inspired cosplays, or have thought about doing any others?
I've thought about a couple. There are definitely a few that I'm interested in. I kind of have my eyes on a few of the Broadway productions of Disney shows, just because I'm kind of like, I kind of like Belle's dress. I kind of like this and that. I also have a couple from Wicked that I want to make. I really want to make Glinda's bubble dress. That has been on my wish list for a really long time. And there are my dogs.
Probably saw a squirrel or something.
Yeah.
My dogs are the exact same way.
Yep. Squirrel.
Squirrel.
So yeah, there's definitely a couple of Broadway designs that I'd love to make. It's just going to be a matter of sitting down and doing them.
Well, Mindy, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
So where can they find you on social media?
Anywhere on social media, you can find me by looking at the Geeky Seamstress. Twitter, it's Geeky Sews, because the Geeky Seamstress is too long. But yeah, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere else. My blog, you can also find me under the Geeky Seamstress. So yeah, go follow me or hit me up for commissions.
Yep, do it. She did a great job. If y'all saw any of the photos on my Instagram, she did my Hamilton for my wedding.
Oh, that was so much fun.
It was 45 degrees today. I was so warm.
Oh my God, awesome. I'm so glad it worked out.
Yeah, I was so happy with it. And I wore it to the show. The actors loved it. Especially, I can't remember his actual name, but his Instagram name is Sir Blacksalot. Mm-hmm. He was like, awesome Hamilton cosplay, and they loved that. I told them, yeah, I wore this to my wedding. And they're like, oh my God, that is so awesome.
That's so cool.
Thank you so much for all those
awesome memories. I'm so happy I could be part of it.
So awesome, guys. So you find her on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter under Geeky Sews. Yeah, Sews? No,
Geeky Sews.
Geeky Sews, sorry.
I make the
Hispanic. And yeah, just find her on there. And you can find me on Instagram under at AnimalNerd89. And yeah, just keep an eye out for more of these videos coming out. Be next couple of weeks. So yeah. And as always, keep on nerding.